Hi, neighbors. We're living it up in the area of Austin, Texas.
We're back from Colorado. We were gone for a little bit over a month. We didn't take Gilbert and Gertrude with us. They stayed here, and we sure missed them. Gertrude's our home, and Gilbert's our tool shed, and we needed both of them.
For our trip to Colorado, we had two places we wanted to visit. The first was Colorado Springs, where we stayed with our friends Dennis and Teresa, where we covered a whole lot of bases.
And then we went off to Pagosa Springs to check up on my parents. Stay tuned, and we're going to tell you what all we did while we were in Colorado.
We're living it up, we're gonna make it through. We can see the light, just me and you. We're living it up, we're gonna make it through. We're together for good, just me and you. We're living it up.
In Colorado Springs, it was real important that we participated in a couple of things. One was that some people I've been studying with, Juan and Addie, were both baptized into Jesus Christ. They also got married. So we're praying God's blessings upon them, and we're so thankful that they honored us by letting us participate in their teaching and also with their wedding. And we also got a great visit in with our son Nathan.
Yep, and then off to Pagosa Springs to see what we can do to help our parents get ready for winter. In Pagosa Springs, we really enjoyed the fall colors and visiting with our parents. We played games, we talked about the Bible. Sometimes there was up to 12 people in their home visiting with us and studying the Bible. We did some cooking, some cleaning. We even played some games with Mom and Dad and really enjoyed that. My dad was a hoot.
Then we had some chores to do. We were trying to get them prepared for winter. We got to do some of those chores, other odds and ends that were around the property.
We did some cleaning inside and some cleaning outside. We cut firewood. We stacked firewood. Carl went underneath one of their buildings and fixed some plumbing and helped the plumbers winterize it. And it's not just going underneath it. How far back in there was that?
It's about 35, 40 feet.
And some places, what, 18 inches or less?
When you get back under a building like that, you really get to know yourself.
While we were there in Pagosa Springs, we also got to visit with friends that were passing through, friends that live there. And some of the friends that passed through were Tony and Darlene. Tony and Darlene.
Tony's like my chief coach for the RV, Gertrude. So if I have any questions about what I do with Gertrude on the road or any of the systems, he's the go-to guy.
We didn't know that they were going to be there, but it was so fun to see them, and Mike and Mary. And then Ken and Betty were there working with the church, and we got to spend a lot of time looking at God's Word with them and getting to know them, and we really enjoyed that. I also got to visit with my friend Pam, who lives there. And did y'all know that we lived in Pagosa Springs for 16 years?
Right.
Our children were pretty much raised in Pagosa Springs and went to school there. We loved living in Pagosa Springs, and Pam's one of my friends from when I lived there. Actually, she's from one of my friends from when we vacationed there when I was a teenager. And so Pam works at her sister's family's place, Spruce Ranch, just below Wolf Creek Pass overlook, and I got to help her hang out sheets. Beautiful, beautiful weather, and we just visited and watched the sheets dry. And
it's a cabin and RV place.
Yes, yeah. So we wished we had brought Gertrude with us and hooked her up in there. We would have loved it.
Yep.
But this trip was to see what we could do with Mom and Dad, so we chose to stay in Mom and Dad's house so we could be right there with them. It's always fun to be in Pagosa Springs and go to the post office and the grocery store and bump into old friends and old acquaintances.
Yeah, some people still recognize this.
Yeah, can you believe that?
We'd been gone for over 18 years. Yeah.
18, more than that, I think.
Okay.
Quite a while. We lived there for 16, and then we were in Colorado Springs for 17, and we've been gone a year. Seems longer than that. But it was fun. I still recognized some people, and it was good to see them, and we sure enjoyed that. But our time in Pagosa Springs ended.
Yeah, so we got a call from Colorado Springs that our neighbor, his name is Gordon, his wife Pam had passed away. And we wanted to be there for them. So we decided, instead of going straight back to Texas, that we would backtrack to Colorado Springs so that we could help them with their funeral arrangements and assist the family, just spend time with them. We felt so honored that they allowed us to come into their home and to be a part of everything and help them through a time of sorrow. And we really relished the fact that we had such good neighbors in Colorado Springs.
It also gave us an opportunity to see Nathan again by going back to Colorado Springs. And
in all, our visits to Colorado Springs were really brief, but we did the
We
first
did a
time
lot.
we did worship with our church family there and got to touch base. It was really quick, but it was so good to be able to see so many people.
yes, it was. Now we're going to do a slideshow of some photos we took while in Colorado. Everything we talked about. We took a fall color drive through the Southern Rockies, Durango, Silverton, and Ouray, and got some great photos. It's very hard, though, to get a photo to look as amazing as what God created. And we were just honored that we got to see such beautiful colors.
And we got to see snow. So those mountains were snow-capped already in October, early October.
That's right. And we also got to got some photos of our friends. And so you're going to get to see our friends that we got to see and visit with. And Wolf Creek Pass has some treacherous roads. And the 16 years that we lived there, there were several trucks that had fallen off that road coming down off Wolf Creek Pass. And while we were there, unfortunately, a truck went off at the Overlook Pass. And we were up there taking some photos and had forgotten that that had happened, and then realized the cab of the trailer of the truck was still
Right.
stuck between the rocks
Down in the ravine.
down in the ravine, and the concrete barrier was still damaged, and you could still smell all of the fuels from that truck.
It had happened about 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, so we have a few pictures of that we want to share with you. And the song that's going to accompany the slideshow is one Carl wrote.
Right, it's called 2 Feet of Snow in the Rockies.
It's one of my favorite songs. He wrote it about when he was gone and leaving me and the kids, tending to the fire, keeping the fire,
Home fires warm.
home fires warm.
Right.
The local radio station, Chris Oliveris, he used to play it at KWOOF and KWUF.
Right.
And he'd play that every winter. And so I hope you enjoy this song and enjoy the photos we have. So check it out, and we'll be back in just a second.
There's an emptiness when I leave the house, and it starts the time when I count the hours. 7 days away from the one I love. 2 feet of snow in the Rockies, now I'm away from home. I'm hoping that the run was clear and you're keeping the home fires warm. Yes, I'm having a good time, missing you, I'm not home. I could think of Saturday, 'cause then I'm coming home. Now I'm wishing you were here by my side. I've seen a lot of things I know would make you smile. I wanna share with you every mile. 2 feet of snow in the Rockies, now I'm away from home. I'm hoping that the run was cleared and you're keeping the home fires warm. Yes, I'm having a good time, missing you, I'm not whole. I keep thinking of Saturday, 'cause then I'm coming home. your inspiration. I keep doing my best. You're in my heart forever. I am blessed. Defeat of snow in the Rockies. Now I'm away from home. I'm hoping that the runway's cleared and you're keeping the home fires warm. Yes, I'm having a good time. Missing you, I'm not whole. I keep thinking of Saturday, 'cause then I'm coming home. I keep thinking of Saturday, 'cause then I'm coming home. I keep thinking of Saturday, 'cause then I'm coming home.
We're through sharing now.
now.
Feel free to give us a thumbs up or give us a comment below.
Or subscribe. We sure feel blessed that you guys have joined us.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
We're living it up.